Konnichiwa. In this video, you will learn how to conjugate Japanese verbs in their present short forms for casual speech. Short forms of verbs are used among family members and friends in casual speech. Japanese verb conjugations may seem complicated, but in fact they are very systematic, therefore easy if you know their verb types and their rules. There are three types of Japanese verbs. The first group is U verbs, also known as Group 1 verbs, such as the verbs that you see here. There are 9 possible verb endings for this type of Japanese verbs. The second group is Lu verbs, also known as Group 2 verbs, such as the verbs that you see here. There is only one possible verb ending for this type of Japanese verbs, which is Lu, and Lu has to be preceded by an S sound or E sound. The third group is irregular verbs, also known as Group 3 verbs, and they include the following 2 verbs only. These verbs are short affirmative forms. How do we change the verbs you just saw from their affirmative forms to their negative forms? Let's begin with Lu verbs. The negative forms of taberu is tabenai, not eat in present tense. And the negative form of miru is minai, not watch. The formula is if you drop the lu ending of a lu verb and add nai, you will get the negative form of a lu verb. Nai, the negation, comes after the verb root. Now let's move on to irregular verbs. For suru, to do, drop lu, change su to shi, and then add nai. So shinai is the negative form of suru, which means not do or will not do in present tense. For kuru, to come, drop lu, change ku to ko, and then add nai. So konai is the negative form of kuru. You simply just have to memorize them the way they are, as they are irregular verbs and there are no rules to follow here. This time, we are going to conjugate the U verbs. As I mentioned earlier, there are 9 possible endings. If you still remember the verbs T-forms song, you probably know what these 9 endings are. In any case, they all have the U endings. Let's look at Ka-U first that ends with U. When you first learned hiragana, you learned A, I, U, E, O, and U is a part of this row. Let's move down to matsu, to wait, and its ending is tsu, and zi is a part of the tachi zuteto row. The third word you see here is wakaru, which has the lu ending, and lu is a part of the rarirurero row. Here's the rest of the table. Please note, column 1 has all of the a sound characters, column 2 e sounds, column 3 u sounds, column 4 e sounds, and column 5 o sounds. I hope by now you have noticed that the endings of U verbs are just like the ones in column 3. Basically, column 3 contains the ending of U verbs in their short forms. It is very important to know this table well as you will use it for U verb conjugations. This time, we're going to use this table to change U verbs into their negative forms. I'm duplicating the verb list here so that I can show you the affirmative forms and their negative forms side by side. How do we exactly change these U verbs to their negative forms? Let's revisit the middle column, which is the third column with the U sound characters. We are going to move from column 3 to column 1, containing all of the A sound characters. To change U verbs into their negative forms, we will need this A sound column to replace the U endings. Please note that we will need to change a to wa, but keep the rest of the characters the same. Now we're going to add nai. That is, we have changed by to its negative form, not buy or will not buy, in present tense. Now apply the same rule to matsu. Its negative form is mata nai. That is, we have changed to wait to not to wait. You can pause the video and practice these negative forms. In any case, here are the answers. Here's the negative conjugation table for all 3 verb types. If you know the verb types and their rules, verb conjugations can be really easy because they're very systematic. However, when there are rules, there are always exceptions. Kaeru ends in lu, which is preceded by an e sound. Hairu ends in lu, which is preceded by an e sound. They are supposed to be lu verbs, but they are actually u verbs. There are many verbs like these in Japanese. You just have to remember them when they come along. Please also note the negative form of aru is nai, not aranai, which is a common mistake made by Japanese language learners. Here's a dialogue between two friends, Taka and Hana, that shows how to use short form verbs in casual speech. 明日映画を見る?
見ない。
じゃあ、明日何をする?
お寺に行く。花さんも一緒に行かない?
明日はちょっと、実は明日アルバイトがある。Be sure to look for the videos that talk about how to put these verbs before と思います to express your thoughts or opinions or before と言っていました to quote someone. Until then, ではまた。